This app makes $8 million per month. It's a plant identifier app, and there are other apps in the same niche that are also doing very well. For example, this app makes 2 million per month, 700K per month, 400K per month, 300K per month, and 200K per month. That is a clear indicator that there is a big market for these kind of apps. Imagine you would be able to build such an app and sell it to your target group. It would be great to get a share of this market. In this video, I will show you step by step how to build this kind of app using AI. And by the end of the video, you will be able to completely build this by yourself, even without a single line of code. First, let's find a nice name for our app. For that, I opened ChatGPT and just ask it to give me a list of good names. Here is the list. I actually like the name Florify. Let's use it. To build the user interface, we will use an AI called Lovable. Lovable is able to build the full code of the user interface of your app. And it all works with a simple prompt. I have prepared the following prompt for this video. Create a web app called Florify, a plant identification and health assessment tool inspired by apps like PlantNet and Planta. The app should have a clean, intuitive interface with a soothing, nature-inspired color palette. What features do we need? A welcoming landing page that explains Florify's purpose and features, simple authentication system with email-based sign-up and login, a dashboard where users can upload a plant image to identify the plant and check its health conditions, a results page that clearly displays the plant's name, health status and other helpful notes, a basic user profile page that tracks previously identified plants. Alright, let's see what Lovable is doing with that. It understood our prompt and now it starts working on it. At the moment it creates all the files for us and we do not need to write a single line of code by ourselves. Just a few weeks ago we had to be a developer to build something like this or spend a lot of time and money hiring one. It was a slow and costly process. Alright, while our app is building in the background, let me give you a quick tour of the full tech stack that we will need for this app. The app will be built with three major parts: the front end, the back end and external resources. The front end is the user interface, what runs on the user's device. Right now we are building it with Lovable and it's designed to be super intuitive and easy to use. The back end, on the other hand, runs on a server and does all the heavy lifting. This includes things like databases, user authentication and important functions that need to run in a secure environment. Building a backend is usually the hard part. It needs to be fast, secure, scalable and handle all of our business logic. But there's good news. These days we have backend as a service solutions that take care of all that complexity for you. In this video we'll be using Supabase as our backend. Supabase is powerful, open source and you can even host it yourself locally or wherever you prefer. They also offer a convenient cloud-based version which is super handy. So whether you're a developer or a business owner, you don't have to worry about servers or writing backend code. You can just use it and focus on what matters most, your apps. Using external resources makes our app even more powerful. From the backend, we can securely connect to those resources using API calls. An API, or application programming interface, is like a bridge between different software systems. You send a request and you get a response. Simple as that. For example, think about Google Maps. When you use it, your phone sends your location to Google servers. Then Google does all the complex calculations and sends back the map, your route or the distance. From your perspective, it feels instant and easy, but behind the scenes, it's all happening through API calls. We will use the same concept in our app, sending requests to external services and getting back useful data. And just like that, we have covered the full tech stack of our app. Wow, all of this was created with just one single prompt. It looks great, it has a nice landing page and also all of the other pages are there. Let's add our backend to the system. Alright, let's go to supabase.com and then up there you see a new project. You just click it, you choose your organization and then you create a project name. In this case we just use Florify. Then I have to add a database password. Just make sure to keep that one and then select your region. and create a project. Now the setup is done. We can come back to Lovable. So on the top right corner, you see this small icon. It says Manage Supabase. When you click there, you select your organization, and then you will find the backend that we just created. You just click Connect, and that's basically it. It's all done for us. Amazing. So now we have added a backend to our front end. And now here in the prompt, it just gives me all the hints what I can do to connect user accounts and login, to store and use real data, and to add advanced features like edge functions. All right, so here's the button, which brings me directly to our Supabase dashboard. And then I can add authentication. I click Explore Auth. Then I go to sign in and sign up, and I enable email. That's enabled already. All right. And there are all the other options like phone, Bitbucket. There are so many authentication options that you could use as social auth providers. So inside of email, there's this confirm email thing that you get an email whenever you log in or when you sign up basically to the system. I will disable this just for testing purposes. This makes testing easier. And now back to Lovable, I just prompt, I have set up Supabase, please connect the login UI and the sign up UI with Supabase. And then I just send that, and Lovable will take all the work for us. It says, I'll implement the authentication with Supabase by connecting the existing login and sign up UI to the Supabase authentication system. Perfect. So it fully understood what we need. And it's building everything out for us. Nice. I've connected your app to Supabase authentication by implementing and so forth. So it added all of these files, and it's basically all done. All right, let's test the system by creating some random test email, some password, and then click sign up, and it worked. Wonderful. I made a Google search to find a good external resource to help us identify plants and to get health advice. And I found this plant ID by Kindwise, but there are also other APIs to do that job. And now we will explore that by clicking on the API documentation. This brings us to the documentation. And here on the left side, you can see two APIs that we will need. One is the create identification, and the other one is the health assessment. All right, so on the right side, you see this example request. And here you can see the input that this API needs to work. And it basically needs an image. It can also take longitude and latitude, so your location, and also similar images. The most important part for us is the image itself. So we will upload that image, then send it here as an input, and then we will get an output. And the output is defined like this. You will get back if it's a plant or not, and how is it classified, and the name of it. Let's have a look at the health assessment. That works similar. We also send in the image of the plant, and then with that, it works. And then the output is pretty long. It gives us the results about the plant, the probability, if it's healthy or not, the diseases, and all the possible curves that we can do on the plant. So what I will do, I will copy the input of that API and I will prompt it to Lovable. I want to use the following API to identify the plant and also get the health information of the plant. You need to call the API in this way, and then I just paste it in to make Lovable aware of how they should provide the input for this API. So I paste that in. You can see this very long string. This is the image basically in a string format, and I will just delete this string from the prompt. Otherwise the prompt is too long, and we also don't need that information in this place. So I just take it out and replace it by 3 dots. The return of the API will look like this. Then I copy the response from the documentation and paste that also in. Please implement this API and make sure that the information that is coming back with the response is nicely displayed in the UI. Now let's have Lovable make the work for us again. All right, it says, I'll implement the plant ID API integration for your Florify application. Let's create an edge function to handle the API call securely and update the UI to display the health assessment results. That's great, because We don't want to call this API from the front end because we will also add an API key in a few seconds. And this API key, we don't want to expose that to everyone. We want to store it securely in the backend. And Lovable is taking care of that already. So it's also thinking of the security of the app, so you don't have to worry about it. All right, it added it. It created the Supabase edge function to securely make API calls to plant ID and so forth. And now it came over an error, and you can just click try to fix it. You can have a look on the error here. And that's also amazing because as a software developer, we spend most of our time in finding bugs and fixing them. And that's also a very, very frustrating process. When you come to office in the morning, you have to look for bugs all day long, and hopefully by the evening you can fix them. In this case, we just click a button, try to fix error, and then the AI takes it and does this for us. Let's see if it's able to do it. I fixed the import issue by changing and so forth. And then you'll need to add your plant ID API key to Supabase secrets. Go to your Supabase dashboard, navigate to settings, API, and add a new secret named plant ID API key. All right, let's do that. For that, you have to log in. I have already created an account. If you don't have it yet, just create an account. It's very easy. Then click on create new API key, give your API key a name, and then you can assign credits to it. In this case, I just put 50 and I select plant ID API. So I create it. And then on this page, you can click on show key and just copy the key from here. So at this point, I'm not 100% sure where I have to exactly add the API key. So I just ask Lovable again, where exactly do I have to add the API key? And now it gives me more detailed instructions. Let me help you add the plant ID API key as a Supabase secret. To add a plant API key, go to plant website and generate an API key. We did that already. Click on Supabase edge function secrets link above and a new secret with the name plant ID API key and paste it there. All right. It gave me also the link, which brings me directly to this page. And now I know what to do. I paste in the value. It also gives me the key. So I copy it from here and I just also paste it there. Now I tell it I added it. All right, let's test the full app. And now let's see if it works. What I did, I made a search for plants and I found this website. I just made a screenshot of this one. And now let's just upload it here. So I have it here. I upload it. And now I want to identify the plant. I run it. And wonderful. So it made a health check. It's healthy and it has some care requirements. It says unknown plant. That's because we have just implemented the health API. We have not implemented the name API yet. So let's also do that. Let's come back to the documentation and we have the identification API here. So I just say, please use the following API to get the name of the plant and then show the name in the UI. This is the API to request the identification. And then I just paste it in again. The response will look like this. And then I just copy in the response. I also take that from the documentation, then paste it in here. And that's it. Let's run it again. So we also need that API because the health API does not return the name of the plant. So we need to have these two calls. All right, so it says the plant identification has been updated to use the plant ID identification API endpoint to get the plant name and display it in the UI. Now, when you upload a plant image, the app will fetch this scientific name from the API and show it in the results page. All right, let's try it again. Identify plants. I just upload the same image again. I say identify the plant and let's see. Wonderful. So now it has the name up here. It has the plant assessment, the detailed health information. It doesn't seem correct. So I just tell him again, please use the identification API to get the name and the health API to get the health information and show all information to the user. So now it says I've updated the plant identification system to use both. Now when the user uploads an image, the system will identify the plant, assess the plant's health conditions and display the results. All right, then let's try it one more time. I just take the same image again. Wonderful, that looks very, very nice. So within a few minutes, we have a fully functional app that has a wonderfully styled front end. We have a backend connected to it. We have a database. We have authentication working. We have implemented an API, and we have a fully fledged product that you can go out and sell to your customers. Below the video, I have a link to our free community. You will find the video there and all the prompts that we have used in this video. And if you run into any technical issues, if you have any more questions, go to our free community and ask your question there, and the community will be happy to help you out. And by the way, my name is Philipp. I'm the co-founder and managing director of a software company based in Germany. We have built software and software as a service solutions for companies around the world. And in this channel, we want to teach you from our experience how to build products that solve real business problems. If you're interested in these topics, subscribe to the channel to not miss out on this great AI opportunity. Now we have fully built the app. Let's add a subscription model to it that you are able to sell this to your customers. To handle all of the payment, we will use a service called Stripe. Stripe is a payment service. It handles everything for you. It's very, very convenient. So I jump to my dashboard. You can create an account. It's completely for free. And then up here on the left side, you can switch to Sandbox. We will build everything in the Sandbox. It does not hurt your bank account. And once it works, we turn the Sandbox into a real project. So up here, you can create a new Sandbox. I will call it Florify, and I will create an account from scratch. All right, this gives me all of the keys. Now I add some products to it, create product. I want to have it a recurring thing. Let's say it's $29 per month. Florify Pro. I add that product, and the important part is I need to get the price ID to set this up. So, okay, I created this prompt. The prompt says, add Stripe as a payment provider to the project. Stripe requires two APIs, one to create the Stripe session and another one to verify the payment. Create another page where the user sees the subscription. Every user has 3 free credits. After the user makes a pro subscription, 100 credits are added to that user for that month. 1 credit is needed to identify 1 image. Make sure that you update the credits after the user paid the subscription, and the credits are reduced whenever an image is identified. So it will now create the pages, it will prepare the APIs for it, and it will ask us for the secret to our sandbox. I will help you implement Stripe payment processing with credit management for plant identification. First, let's set up the necessary database tables to track user credits and subscriptions. That's perfect. So for sure we need to store the information of the user. How many credits does he have? When was the last subscription? We need to store this information into our database. And for that, we have to set up tables in the database. Before, you would have to go into the database and set this up all manually. And right now, it gives us all the SQL commands here and say apply changes, and Lovable will apply these changes to our Supabase backend. Now we need the Stripe secret key. Let's come to our Stripe. We have the secret key up here. So I just copy it. I click here, add key. I add it here, submit it. So it will ask me all the right questions that I need. So now it has the API key. So Now, as we have the secret key, I'll implement the Stripe payment integration with credit management. Let's build the necessary edge functions for Stripe integration and update the front-end components. That's wonderful. It does what it should do. Now we have the subscription up here. The page looks very, very nice already. So we are in the free plan. We have already used all of our credits. And here it compares it. So we have the 3 credits in the free plan, 100 in the pro plan. And it looks really, really good. All right, to test Stripe, I published the app to an URL. You can definitely connect your custom domain over here, which is very easy. And then we can test it on this separate URL. All right, it worked. So I just open it up. It opens my app. I go to the subscription tab and let's test if that works. It opens the Stripe page. Wonderful. Florify test mode. That's the Stripe checkout page. That's wonderful. I add my email in here. Then we use a testing credit card. Stripe, in the Stripe documentation, you can find this testing credit card that you can use to test your application. I just add that data in here, the date and the secret, then just some random name, and then I buy it. And let's see if it works. All right, it accepted the payment. Then it leads me back to my page and it worked. So we are on the current plan, pro plan, status is active, and we have 100 credits. Wonderful. All right, we have just built a fully working app with a front end, back end, APIs, and payment integration. You can use this to build your own product for your customers. If you want all the prompts, check out the link below the video, which leads you to our free community. It's completely for free. And if you have any technical questions, ask it there. The community will be happy to help you out. And if you like the information in this video, subscribe to the channel to not miss out on this great AI opportunity. See you in the next one.